Wow. Check that new open, John.
How about that? It worked.
Whoa, we are stepping up in the world, brother. Hey, welcome once again to Let Him Run's podcast here on Saturday, August 30th, as we close out both the summer and the meet at Saratoga. John is joining us again, as you can see, just another wonderful venue in his beautiful backyard. John, again, once again, you continue to make me jealous and envious of the positions and where you join us from the podcast. John, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Fred?
Good. Another Saturday here in Mercer County. Looking forward to a beautiful, long Labor Day weekend, and hope everyone else has the same. So, John, talk to us a little bit about the success you just had with this contest you were in. Tell us a little bit about that, because today you're going to be doing a little work for us from Del Mar out there on the West Coast, where the Breeders' Cup will be held in November. But let's hear a little bit about your success, John.
Yeah, Wednesday I'm sitting at the beach and not much going on down there, so looked at a contest. Played a contest for a feeder for the $4,000 Del Mar Challenge, which takes place today with your Pacific Classic card. And I was thinking about entering it, but 4,000 is a big nut to just plop down and play in a contest. So I said, let me just try a feeder, and got lucky. The last race, I picked a 9-2 shot who happened to go off 10-1, which was a whole difference. That sent me over the top. When he wins and pays $22. Moved me in the second place, and I got my $4,000 seat. So I had to shift all my gears for Saturday to the last 7 races at Del Mar.
Awesome, John. Well, once again, continuing to show your savvy ability to handle contests, especially on a short notice. Like you said, you were just sitting at the beach, looking for something to do, and that came up, and that's beautiful. So good luck today with that, John. We're going to hear your picks in a minute. I just want to take a moment to say, make sure that you like and subscribe and continue to read the articles we put out there on Florida Sports Talk. We will continue to do that. And also on Fridays, John and I are going to get together. We're going to make a regular occurrence of our Friday Happy Hour podcast, which has apparently been pretty popular. And on that Friday Happy Hour podcast, we will also talk about something that we're going to introduce, which is called Betting Strategies 101 and then some. And John, why don't you give us a minute into the insight of what that's going to be about regarding, how many people, including myself, good handicappers, but when it comes to the betting strategy, sometimes we get lost a little. What about that?
I fall short in that category myself as well. A lot of us, we all can.
You don't fall short in many categories, John. Come on.
No. We all can handicap, and we put like probably 90% of your time into handicapping, and then you're up against 8 minutes to post, and you're throwing tickets together the last minute, trying to figure out, what the best way to take advantage, put in a pick 5 the last minute or whatever. So you should spend probably 40% of your time looking at the sequence, looking for the best opportunity to take advantage of your opinions, what they might be. And we're going to look at some different strategies on Friday, different betting strategies, whether it be, the carryovers, what they mean, the mandatory payouts, reverse try keys if you like a price to hit the board. So we're going to focus a bit more on betting strategies than handicapping on the Friday Happy Hour. And we'll introduce like 1 or 2 each as we go.
Great. Oh, awesome. Looking forward to that. I know our people who are watching the show are going to enjoy that too, because that's a very, very good point. And I think one of the things that you mentioned, I think all handicappers should continue to remember, is if you have a strong opinion, you want to make sure you play it and make it work for you. So I like that. So, okay, John, the 7th race at Del Mar is $100,000 optional claiming 1 mile on turf. What do you say there? We see it looks like on your pick 5 ticket up there that John put up there at Del Mar, which starts at race 7. It looks like you went with the 4 and the 8.
Yeah, the 4 is definitely my top pick, but I think the 8 really has to, give a long look to it. He's been going longer every race, except for the one time when he tried this flat mile. He did come flying home, and he came home in 23.03. So he was sizzling with those 2 furlongs. So we know he's got the turn to be able to get a mile. So, give him another shot to, close in this race, and he's even buyers with the rest of the field. And at 10-1, Freysu is, trying for the riding title out there for Del Mar Summer Meet. And I know everything Fresu is on. Give a second look because he is going to be riding his butt off the last 3 days trying to make this happen. So I'm going to definitely give that one a shot. The 4 was almost a single for me. Fits all the categories, best buyers. And he's just
Plus
set
got
up right.
Pratt.
The other ones I would throw in there if I had the budget to is the 1 and the 5. But I just don't have the budget to go, 1, 5. So I had to shrink it somewhere. So I'm going to lean on the 4 and 8 in the first. But if you had the budget, 1 and 5 are also plays. What do you think, Fred?
Okay. I agree with that pick. I think the 4 with Pratt on it is a solid pick. Pratt, not only percentage-wise is, a great jockey, but on turf, he's one of the better jockeys. 26% he wins on turf. His overall rate is 30%, but does probably the best turf jockey out there too. So race 8, John, is a maiden special, $100,000, 6 furlongs on the dirt. This race looks like you went a little deeper. It looks like you went 1 through 8. I can see why this race looks like you can make a case for almost any horse. What's your thoughts on that, John?
Before I get into the 8th, I had one note on the turf racing at Del Mar. I wanted to pass along to everybody.
Absolutely.
Post positions 1, 2, 3, and 4. The top 4 post positions have won 50% of the turf races at Del Mar this summer meet, sprints or routes. So the inside, no matter what distance, the 1, 2, 3, 4 posts has won 50% of the races. So the outsides are outposted. So keep that in mind when handicapping. And they are taking the rail down today. They're going to have that new turf, fresh new turf there. So usually when they take the rail down, speed tends to hold a little bit better. So with that,
because the turf is fresh.
And the new rail, keep that in mind. The inside positions, give extra look to the inside turf horses.
Good intel, John. Once again, brother. Okay, race 8, Del Mar. Go ahead.
I really didn't have a top pick here. Obviously the favorite, really, the 5, Miss Kona, Peter Yurton, Fresu again. There you go. I just happened to pop up on Fresu again. He did come flying. Everybody's going to see, how much he ran in that stretch. The 4, I got to give him a shot from the rail last time. It was a nice effort when he was on the rail as a first-time starter. He tipped out,
Sure.
close, too sassy, got the jump on him. So I think that was a nice educational first one. Blinkers on the 3, Cecilia Street, Rispoli and O'Neill, tough to leave them out, third-time starter. I know the 1, heard interviews with Mark Latt. He does like this horse. He mentioned early in the meet when they asked him about his 2-year-olds, and he did mention this California-bred 2-year-old as one that he really likes. He went through the rail his first-time start, didn't really take any money. They put blinkers on. Now he's drew again, unfortunately, but the 15-1 has my interest a little bit, so I will definitely include that crazy price and hope the rail doesn't kill him here. So make a case for just about everyone. Would hit the all button, but for budget, had to knock off somebody, and I knocked off the 9 and a 10, but all 8 of them have an angle.
Again, I kind of see where you could go in a race like this. You don't really know how good these horses are going to be yet because they're all young. And as you mentioned, getting a little insight from trainer Glatt about how he likes that one horse, that's kind of helpful, especially at a price of 15-1, John. So, again, good deal on that race there. Okay, back to the turf again, John. We're going to go to race 9 at Del Mar. The Green Flash handicap. Anybody who remembers the Green Flash, you got to be old. So we'll cover it out a little bit later. But it's a grade 3 race, 5 furlongs. Got some interesting horses in here, John. And looks like in this leg, you went 4, 7, 10, 11. So let's hear a little bit about those thoughts.
Yeah, my first look, I thought it was going to be a single to the 10. I just love Motorius. The last couple of years, he's a 7-year-old now. Just runs so good at this, 5 furlong, 5.5 furlong distance. Loves Del Mar, 3 for 4 with a second. Just missing the Breeders' Cup last year by a neck to the foreign shipper Starlust. So I figured, but he's got a lot of breaks in his training. So maybe he's using this as a prep. I don't think this was his end all for, the year. So I think the Breeders' Cup is his main one. So he might be using this as a prep, coming from out of it. We'll see. Queen Maxima, what a hard knocking, filly she's been. What was it? First time back after the summer rest. Del Mar going a flat mile. She doesn't want that flat mile. Last time she tried a route of the ground, she was 10th and 6th at the route of ground. But you throw those routes out, round 1 turn, 6, 6.5, 5. she is right there, and she wins by open lengths in 5 furlong races, by 3, by 4. She can motor. So if she can work out a trip from the outside and get position early. And then another one that I think might get position early is the 4. Might sit in there behind the speed of Coppola, which we know loves a hard turf, which he'll get out in Belmar. He doesn't like a soft turf. So now he's back on a blazing fast turf. He'll be out there leading. And then maybe the 4 or the 7 could just sit just perfect, second, third, fourth, and get the first jump on the the big closer, Amatorius. I'm going to spend a little bit there.
Yeah, I like the 4. I've seen Coppola run many times, and absolutely that horse is definitely going to be the speed, even though there's a ton of speed in here. But I think he certainly is identified, in my opinion, looking at that as the speed of the speed. He's, raced 34 times in his life, probably the senior of the group, if I'm not mistaken, the senior runner in a group with 34 races under his belt. And won 6 times at this distance of 5 furlongs. So Victor Shemad is a very interesting jockey traveling all the way out there to the West Coast. He typically runs on the East Coast down at Gulfstream Park. Even at Monmouth, I've seen him run. So I think that you got some nice picks there. I think, a trip, John, if I'm not mistaken, you comment on this. In every race, a trip makes a difference. But don't you think in a 5 furlong sprint, trip is like probably the biggest thing?
Yeah, it's a crapshoot at 5 furlongs. I mean, you get a little bit of trouble, you're up against it. I mean, you don't have much time to make it up, so you got to make your own trip, and that's why I could see the 4 and the 7 maybe just sitting in there, getting away, taking advantage of that 1 to 4 post, advantage of the inside the whole way, and then tipping out and getting first run on Notorious, who's going to come down the middle of the lane. Another interesting horse here is 20 to 1 on the rail. One horse turning back at distance. He hasn't been this route of ground. John Sheriff's, doesn't run many turf sprinters, so interesting that he, shows up in this spot here off of 2 subpar performances. So maybe for underneath, he's going to have the stamina to finish. So maybe a second, third, and fourth horse to round out your tries.
Yeah, I think the 4's got a big chance, especially with Rispoli on that horse. Again, knows how to ride these short sprint races very well. Okay, let's go to the Big Daddy now, John. I'm talking about Del Mar, race 10, the Pacific Classic, a grade 1 $1 million race. Lots of horses that we all know in here. I've seen them run, know their names. Where you landed here, John, it looks like here you went skinny, as you mentioned, with the 4 and the 6. I can't argue with that. And what's your thoughts on those 2 horses?
I'm probably going to lean towards Journalism as my pick, just because I think the race could set up for him, and he'll be closing. He is a 3-year-old facing olders for the first time.
Sure.
But Fierceness, I thought when he drew the rail, he would even consider not even going out there because he hates to be on the inside. When he was on the inside in the Met Mile as a big favorite, he just didn't like it, and Raging Court ran right by him. So, right. And I watched that last race again with Sierra Leone, the Whitney. It looked like he was on cruise control, top of the stretch, ready to just pounce and draw away. And those horses just ran by him standing still. So he had no punch in his sign.
That's not a good sign, right?
We know Sierra Leone is pretty good, Highland Falls and Disorm, but they went by him without a thing. So I don't know what he's going to do from here. Is Johnny going to gun out of there to get position and then angle away from the rail and then force others to go inside of him because he doesn't like the inside? Nysos is going to be really forwardly placed. Them 2 I could see possibly mixing it up earlier than they want. Entering the top of the final turn down the backstretch, they could mix it up. And Journalism is your proven closer come running.
Yeah, well, that could set up perfect for him. I think you're right. I think Johnny V on the rail is going to have to make a choice. And if I'm not mistaken either, I think I agree with you there. He's probably going to gun him. I mean, Fierceness, tough horse. Again, a little more consistent. Last time, like you said, the horses ran by him like he was standing still. And now he's going at 1.25 miles. So I don't know if that works to his favor either. So I kind of agree with your assessment of Fierceness there. And then, Nysos and Journalism obviously is one of the, Sovereignty is not in this race. So that's got to be helpful for him, for Journalism and Sovereignty not being in this race. I think that gives him a big class edge, all the races he's been in compared to some of these other horses. They've all been in big races, but I think he's been in the most consistent stakes races of all, John. So in that leg, we're going to go 4, 6, and now we come down to the last leg, which once again, we knocked that down to 2 horses. It is a mile and 3/8 marathon turf race. I love these kind of races, John. I know we talked a little bit about this before the show started. Mile and 3/8, it takes a while to get around the track to finish that race. But what do you think here on those two horses that you picked, the 4 and the 5?
All right. Before I get to the 11th, I had one more comment about the 10th there. I just wanted to say,
Sure.
Nysos could be that flashy horse that could be the flight line and win by 10 lengths. He has the makings. He looks like he could do that. But if he gets a little pressure by Fierceness and the race falls apart, don't count out Paco Lopez going out there at 15-1 to run up there, second, maybe behind the two closers. Journalism indispensable. Come running and pass the two other big guns. So,
and we're familiar with Paco Lopez here on the East Coast. We see him ride all the time, and we know he's a gamer for sure.
But if you see a flashy performance in that race, it's probably going to come from Nysos and say, wow, that horse just won by 10 lengths in this field. It could happen. Or journalism can, buy them if they get tired. So on the 11th, sorry, Fred.
Very good. That's going to be a great race. It's a competitive race. It's going to be exciting to watch. Just going to have to stay up a little later to check that out. Right, John?
Yep. On the Pacific Coast time there. Yep.
All right. Race 11 is, again, the Del Mar handicap grade 2 race. Again, marathon race. John, let's talk about the 4 and the 5 in here.
Not much speed signed on here for this route distance here. And I know, you like the 8 Final Boss, which I do too. I could see a merry-go-round going around there, 8-4 all the way around the track at a slow pace, which is going to take out like all those like long, deep closers that need pace to run into and make them compromised. So I could see 8-4-5 sitting around the track, and just a little question mark about the 8 getting this mile and 3/16 distance.
Yeah.
I could just see the 4 with Mike Smith just getting a perfect trip, angling out and holding off all the closers, and the 5 fits that similar mold. He'll be a little further back. So but the 8 can definitely hold on. I wouldn't be shocked if it's 4-8, 8-4 all the way around and it finishes that way. So lean on them 4, 5, and 8, and a little bit against the 3-time defending champ Golden Phoenix. He's got to be pace dependent. He needs to come flying with his run with pace on the front. I don't see that really happening here. Interesting long shot with Johnny V. Endlessly. He's always been hard knocking with all these different great, big races. So
Johnny V, he's not a Hall of Fame jockey for no reason, right?
He'll be a little more aggressive with Johnny V. So last time Johnny V went out there and he won like 4 or 5 races during one of those fall meets. So
absolutely. Okay, so there's Johnny's pick 5 ticket for Del Mar starting in race 7 up there on the screen. So Saratoga closes out on Monday, John, correct?
Monday's closing day, Saratoga. Yep.
Okay, and today they have the Spinaway Stakes. Is that their big race today that they're talking about there?
Yeah, it's one of them. They got a couple of them, but Spinaway is one of them. And they got the big one tomorrow, the Jockey Gold Cup, the rematch between Mindframe and Sierra Leone. What a race it is between them two. I love both horses, so it's going to be tough to, cheer for either one or pick either one.
Hey, be a great race to watch, to see a couple of very good horses once again facing off against each other as the great Spa closes down once again. I know we'll both miss that very much, but there's Keeneland's going to be opening soon. Kentucky Downs has their races up and running. Interesting, the first day of Kentucky Downs, it was all favorites. It's chalk fest.
First races started out that way. Yep.
The whole that's
whole
very unusual. I guess. Huh?
I gave up after the first couple favorites. I'm like, I'm not even going to look, and I really didn't even look at Kentucky Downs yet. So I got too much with Del Mar contest today. Saratoga closing. No. I can't even look at Kentucky Downs today. It's just too much.
All right. Well, listen, John, again, as always, thanks for being on. Good luck today. We'll be communicating as the day goes on, talking about this situation with your contest, and best of luck. And I'll be talking to you soon again, John. Thanks again.
Thanks,
enjoy your little spot out there by your pool, John. Huh?
All right. Yep, I'm here.
All right, John. All right. Maybe next time I'll come over there and we'll do it from your place.
We'll do it the two. Yep. We'll do it both in one place. Yep. All right,
John. Have a good luck. All right.
Let him run.
Okay. So thank you again, Johnny Costin, one of the top handicappers in the country. There's no question about that. He's been to 4 national horse racing championships in Vegas. He's in another contest today at Del Mar. So if he gives you some advice, I certainly recommend paying attention to it. That's for sure. So let's go to the track that I favor and I enjoy watching, Gulfstream. And finally, after the last couple Saturdays, they've been rained off turf. The sloppy, it affected a lot of our picks. We have our picks down to a science today, and there apparently is no rain in the forecast as I checked, since I last checked. The forecast down in Hallandale Beach. But we're going to talk about races 7 through 11 here. Pick 5, I put my ticket up there. You can see. Let's see. What did it all go up there? Yeah, we'll finish it up there. I'll get the rest of the numbers up there. But race number 7 is the beginning. It's the claiming 12,500, 6.5 furlong race. There's a field of 7 was entered, but with the 2 scratches, the scratch of the 1 and the 3 is a field of 5. I'm going to follow on the favorite here. I really like the number 2, Adios Now. He's 8-5. Jockey Mirage, Raj Mirage is riding him. He's put in some really solid races the last couple times out, even though the last race was his first race on dirt, actually, to put up a super buyer, an 82 buyer speed figure, which clearly is more above par for this level of racing. So if he could put that race back to back with the last race, I think the number 2, Adios Now, becomes a huge contender. A little price I'm going to use in our pick 5 ticket is the 6, Luna Sima, 6-1. This runner is 2 for 2 at the distance, gets the jockey Greenridge. There's 3 big apprentice jockeys down there, Torres, Greenridge, and Fuenmayor. Torres, Yellowbird Torres, seems to be having the upper hand on the jockeys there with regard to the apprentice jockeys. But he's on a good horse here. I think this horse has a chance. I think the weight break of 7 pounds adds a little more speed for the horse. So I think those are my top pick and my top contender. Again, in the pick 5 ticket, which you'll see shortly, I went a little deeper, but that's keeping the value of our ticket at a price that's going to be fair. So let's talk about race 8. This is a open race, a maiden special weight, 53,000, 6.5 furlongs on the dirt. Lots of good horses in here. Again, I'm going to fall on the 2 favorites. I think, there's a field of 9 in here with no scratches. There are 3 first-time starters who are running for the first time. A couple of them have experience, not many, but not many races under their belts. But it's a field of 9 with no scratches. So I'm going to fall on my top pick. Is going to be the number 6, Wayne's Law, being ridden by jockey Marco Meneses. Has ridden him the last time out, just missed in a nice field, was from the rail, put up a 63 buyer speed figure, which fits very well at this level. And again, he was on the rail. There was 5 furlongs. He's getting a little more distance now. I think that's going to help him at 6.5 furlongs to last a little longer. 2-1 morning line, been working out for the return. Trainer Amador Sanchez does very well down there at Gulfstream Park, so I think this horse has a big chance. The second, my top contender is the number 3, Mischievous Milo. This horse is being ridden by Jose Rios. That's his only mount there, which is kind of interesting because he usually gets a lot of mounts down there. We'll talk about mounts when we get to the 10th race regarding some of the jockeys that I mentioned earlier. If you read the article in Florida Sports Talk regarding those jockeys, which we'll talk about. But this horse, Mischievous Milo, he's one of the first-time starters. Always, in my opinion, if you're looking at a maiden special weight race, got to use at least one of the first times because you don't know what kind of horse it is. But this horse has been working out tremendous out of 16% sire Cajun Breeze. And Michael Yates does very well with 2-year-olds. He's hitting at about 19%. So he knows how to get horses ready to run. And this horse certainly looks like he's got a big chance first time out. So those are my top pick. My top pick, number 6, Wayne's Law. The top contender, number 3, Mischievous Milo. Okay, let's go to the third leg of the pick 5. Again, another field of a field of 10 with no scratches. I think that's excellent when you have a big field. There's lots of chances to be able to get a price home. And this is my speed play of the day. Last week, my speed play of the day fell apart because the race was scheduled for turf. Got on synthetic. The horse that was the speed play of the day didn't run too well on synthetic. So that kind of made a difference in terms of, I think, the style of the race. And this race is a claiming 6,250. It is the lowest level of claiming at Gulfstream Park. 7 furlongs, a tricky distance. Again, we talk about that as an elongated sprint. They call it a sprint, closer maybe to a route. You can debate that all you want. But nevertheless, the number 4, I like this horse as my speed play of the day and my top pick, Cross Haste, getting the apprentice jockey we talked about, Yelbert Torres, who's having quite a good meet there for an apprentice. He is the best of the 3 apprentice jockeys that are there. This horse, according to Brisnet, has a speed rating of E8, which means he wants to be in the front. He's going to get the front. He's getting a pretty nice weight break. Last couple of times he's been out. He's been in about 124 pounds. Now he's going to get 117. I think that's going to also help his speed to get to the front. What's interesting here, again, I talked about this before. Raylu Gutierrez is a very good jockey, and he had 3 mounts today. The race 2, race 9, and race 10. Well, I got off of this mount. My top contender, the number 10, Zozan, was being ridden by Raylu Gutierrez. He got off for whatever reason. Saffie Joseph Jr. put Vasquez on him, again, a top jockey down there at Gulfstream Park, but certainly Raylu Gutierrez has been riding at 30%. On the meet down there at Gulfstream Park. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe we'll find out a little bit later. But at any rate, Zozan being ridden by Vasquez now is my top contender. And I think this horse, if Cross Haste doesn't fire, which I think he will, there's no question Yelbert Torres will get that horse out and get him to the front. I think this horse, Zozan, has an interesting chance to also perhaps pick up some pieces at the end. Now, let's get to race 10. This is the race I found most interesting when I was handicapping this all week. I'm like, wow, what a showdown between Raylu Gutierrez and Edgar Zayas. Because Edgar Zayas was on my top pick, Hades, the number 1 horse, but he is no more. Apparently, for whatever reason, he has been taken off the mount and has been given to Marag. Again, very capable jockey, but I was just interested in seeing the showdown between Zayas and Raylu Gutierrez, who also has kept his mount. This is actually his only mount. He was taken off the mount on his race 2, on the horse in race 2, taken off the mount race 9, as we just noted, maintains the mount in this race, but there's no Zayas. So anyway, the top pick is number 1, Hades. I think this horse definitely at the price of 2-1 is look at that race 4 back. He was the 2 back. He was in the grade 3 race. Didn't really belong there. It was on turf. He didn't finish too well in Churchill Downs. The race at Churchill Downs 4 back. It was about this distance, a mile and 3/16. It was a stakes race. He put up a 91 speed figure, a Beyer speed figure. That would fit here. That would dominate this field. So from the rail, I think Marag is going to take this horse, just save ground, and then make a big run at the end. And that's kind of how he won his race, or ran well in his race down there in Churchill Downs. So there's some quality horses down there. And again, the interesting point is, and I love the fact that he stayed on this horse, because my top contender is the 5, Roar of the Beast, another horse that has some speed, getting Lasix again. He got taken off Lasix last time by trainer Saffie Joseph Jr., and he did not run so well. Back on Lasix again for this race, and I think that's going to give him a big chance to win. His 3rd off the layoff. He had a kind of a weird trip at Colonial Downs the last race out. He came back and didn't run too well there. But I think with Raylu Gutierrez maintaining the mount here, I think this horse has a big chance, and especially at 10-1. You're not going to see Saffie Joseph Jr. and Raylu Gutierrez get a 10-1. I was shocked to see that morning line when I did the handicapping, which I do prior to the odds being posted. So I don't know. I thought that horse would be second choice right behind Hades, the number 1 horse, but apparently that didn't happen. So 10-1. Raylu Gutierrez and Saffie Joseph Jr. I'll take that anytime. Okay, the final race is a field of 9, turf, maiden claiming 17,500. Field of 9 with no scratches, going a mile and 16th on the turf. So you got a big field, so there's definitely going to be some options, some chances to get some horses home that may be a price. And the horse I like in this has some speed. He's raced on turf before. He's 10-1. Morning line 10-1. I don't think he's going to remain 10-1 when the gates open up. But as I mentioned in my article at Florida Sports Talk, I said if this race stays on the turf, which currently it's going to, this horse is going to have a big chance. He raced and stretched out last time on turf for the first time at a mile on turf. Prior 2 races were 5.5 furlongs, 5 furlongs on synthetic. Stretched out the first time. Buyer speed figure jumped up, showed very good speed and very good jockey, again, apprentice jockey. Luis Fuenmayor retains the mount, and I think that's very big. Ruben Sierra's a good trainer. Had a little bit of a tough start here at the meet. I had to put a lot of races together, but I think this could be a chance for him to pick up some pieces with the number 9 Seattle Roar. The second pick is probably going to be the likely post-time favorite. It is the morning line favorite at 5-2. The number 7 horse, Excuses. Is the number 1 prime power, which again I love to use Brisnet and the information they give out. Look at his race 5 back on synthetic. He put up some pretty good speed figures. Last time out was his first time on their second time on turf. Both times were on turf, run very well, but the last time was at a mile 16th and he ran well. So I think this horse is my top contender, the number 7 Excuses. So I will post my pick 5 ticket. I can lay it out to you right now. In race 7, it's the 2, 4, 5, and 6. Race 7. In race 8, the 3, 4, 6. In race 9, I went with the 4, 10. In race 10, I went with the 1, 5, 6, 7. And race 11, I went with the 2, 7, 9. So I'll post those on X. So follow us on X. Let it run on X, and I'll post that up there again. And we certainly look forward to hearing how John makes out in his tournament there at the races that run at Del Mar, which includes the Pacific Classic race with journalism and a number of big horses in the race. So we wish John the best of luck there. I know he's going to do well. One of the best handicappers that I know, and shows it every week. So on that note, I'm going to say, hey, listen, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check us out on X. Read about our posts and things that we write about at Gulfstream Park at Florida Sports Talk. And as always, let it run.